My only question is why? Why? Outside of a massive payday, the first fight wasn't necessarily a competitive fight, and if they do it again, I think it's going to be less competitive. I don't think this is going to go very well for one, Saul.
Canelo's going to definitely ego kick in and want to do a rematch.
No, I don't know. I don't believe that. You know, I think the warrior spirit might want him to have a rematch, but I don't think the rematch is going to do him any justice, you know.
Terence Crawford, riding high off his monumental September victory, has finally agreed to a rematch with Canelo Alvarez, but he's taking control with one unyielding demand. He's made it crystal clear the days of being the underdog are over. Crawford isn't the challenger anymore, he's the king, and if Canelo wants a shot at redemption, he'll have to meet a record-breaking price. This isn't just business, it's a declaration of dominance. Crawford is ready to crush Canelo's pride before the first bell even.
It's no longer breaking news, but Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez are apparently in talks for a rematch in 2026, and my only question is why? Why? Outside of a massive payday, the first fight wasn't necessarily a competitive fight, and if they do it again, I think it's going to be less competitive. I don't think this is going to go very well for one, Saul. Like I said, the Ring Magazine reporting as of about 4 days ago now, I'm a little late to the news, but Canelo Alvarez wants Terence Crawford rematch, says negotiations are underway for 2026. Now, first off, I expect nothing less from Canelo. He wants to get that fight back because, well, number one, it's a somewhat advantageous matchup at 168 for him, and there's not many other matchups at 168 for Canelo right now that offer him any sort of advantages. He says, I want my run back, I want my get back, but I gotta be honest, I don't know how this goes well for Canelo in a rematch.
Terence "Bud" Crawford isn't saying no to the rematch, he's simply insisting on the payday that comes with being the undisputed king today. We're diving into why Crawford is demanding this record-breaking purse, why Canelo's own promoters are hesitant to sign the contract, and the startling insider theory that this entire rematch chatter could be nothing more than smoke and mirrors to protect reputations.
You know, to Sergio's point, a lot of the people that I'm been talking to when it comes to this fight, they're not like, it's almost like the air was taken out of them. They're not excited about even the idea of a rematch, or the subject doesn't even come up. Usually the conversations are, hey man, is there a rematch clause? Do you think they'll run it back? What do you think will win? Like, people just, even casuals, realize that Crawford, he schooled Canelo, man. He really did. I don't think people want to see this fight. I agree with Sergio Mora.
Be at a smaller arena because people already saw Canelo get dominated by the better fighter, and the better fighter will do it again, even easier and with more confidence.
Yeah. Se están hablando de una revancha. Yo creo que es más fácil le va a ganar a Canelo.
¿Oh, sí? ¿Por qué?
Yo lo creo. Pues digo, es el estilo de Crawford, ¿no? Yo creo que Canelo ya le gana a Crawford.
Sí. ¿Hay algo que puede ser Canelo para ganar o para hacer la pelea más cerrada?
Bueno, pues lo que todos sabemos, ¿no? Yo creo que a entrar al intercambio de golpes y pues tirar más golpes, ¿no? Pero digo, ahora sí que es boxeo y realmente pues se preparan ya. Si Crawford le ganó una vez y supo cómo ganarle, yo creo que puede ganarle nuevamente, ¿no? Pero digo, no hay nada escrito arriba del ring. Digo, puede ser que una buena estrategia de Canelo y pase diferente, ¿no? Pero realmente yo creo que, pues digo, trae ganas y trae hambre de Crawford, y digo, pues Canelo ya hizo lo suyo, digo, ya no es lo mismo, pero digo, con que brinden una buena pelea es más que suficiente.
Let's cut straight to the money, because this is where the balance of power has completely flipped in their first fight back in September 2025. Canelo Alvarez reportedly pocketed a guaranteed purse exceeding $100 million. Crawford, despite being the pound-for-pound king, took the B-side money, roughly half of that, just for the chance to showcase his greatness, and showcase it he absolutely did.
But you hold on. You keep saying this.
Hold up. Canelo, see, this is a thing about Canelo. He sometimes relies on the environment, the hostile crowd, to also help him win this fight. Not only with the judges, but with the opponent. Crawford even handled that. You know, you can't prepare for that magnitude, the roar of the crowd, the lights, everyone booing you. You can't prepare for that. Crawford was ready for that. Even his ring entrance, when he came in with that guitar case, it was, man, that's one of my all-time favorite entrances.
Desperado, yeah, it's an homage to Desperado. Yeah.
Actually, it was Mariachi. That was part one. Desperado was part two. That right there, it was me against the world. That was his mentality. Me against all these Mexicans. Me against Canelo in Las Vegas. Me against Canelo and the judges that he probably has in his pocket. Me against everyone, and Bud shut everyone up. And you think?
Yeah, but hold on.
Canelo's going to be able to do it the second time around?
I don't know. I don't think it's an open and shut case as you do. Let me ask.
The bout pulled in an astonishing $45 million live gate at Allegiant Stadium, proving the world was watching just as eagerly for Bud as they were for the Mexican superstar.
Some may argue he's the greatest Mexican fighter. He's the most successful, accomplished Mexican fighter in boxing history. And Canelo is 63 wins, 3 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout. Terence Crawford essentially jumped up 2 weight classes, 3 weight classes, technically 2, and beat Canelo Alvarez. And Canelo, after the fight, said he had no answers. But Canelo was the undisputed champion, so he had a rematch clause. And as I told you guys in the video I did, Terence Crawford is contractually obligated to the rematch. So Bernie the boxer, he reveals that Terence Crawford is demanding that he gets the lion's share. Now, it was reported the gate did over $45 million, close to $46 million. Gate. It also sold 65,000 people in the arena at AT&T, at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. And so, with that said, Terence Crawford was dominant that night. Canelo got 150 million reportedly, and Terence Crawford got 50 to 70 million, right? And so now Terence Crawford wants the roles to be reversed, as he should. Now, keep in mind, Canelo signed a multi-fight deal with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, okay? That's guaranteeing him a specific amount of purse. So Terence Crawford is saying, listen, I came out on top, as he did. I'm the victor, as he was, right? It was very successful, not only just because of Canelo Alvarez, but because of me as well, as he's right. And so I demand and I deserve to get paid.
Now Crawford is using that victory as leverage with sharp strategic logic. His team's position is straightforward. You don't earn the winner's payday if you lose the fight.
You cannot sit there and tell me that there is a more marketable fight out there for both these guys than running it back once again. Your plan to have him drop down to 160 and fight Erislandy Lara is stupid. Canelo Alvarez is not going to move up to fight David Benavidez now at 175. There's nowhere to go. Like, Crawford could still try to conquer 160, but who is putting up real money for that? Canelo has already cleaned out 168-pound division besides Terence Crawford. Where else is he going to go? I just think the more time passes, the more we get away from the outcome of this fight, that's when people are going to start to realize that doing it one more time is in the best interest of both these guys. And for boxing, by the way, because that's another big event that you could put on the calendar.
You're pretty stupid for a smart guy, especially when it comes to matchmaking.
Crawford is now the undisputed super middleweight champion. He holds the belts, the bragging rights, and the ultimate leverage. He's insisting the roles be completely reversed. If Canelo wants the rematch, he must take the B-side pay, while Crawford claims the $100 million top share. It's an ultimatum aimed straight at Canelo's pride and ego.
His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh understands that Terence Crawford's value is extremely high. And he'll be 39 this September, right? So, again, he deserves to get compensated. Now, the question is going to be, is this rematch going to sell enough? Well, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh truly don't really care about, the purses, right? He just wants great fights. But is it going to garner the money to pay out those purses? Right? That's where the question lies. But Terence Crawford deserves it. And he's demanding that he gets $100 million, as he should. As he should. He has more to lose than Canelo Alvarez. And he can get a legacy fight at middleweight to now, I don't want to say pad his stats, but to pad his stats. If he competes at middleweight, right, and becomes undisputed at middleweight, that'll make him a 4-division undisputed champion and a 6-division champion overall. Right? He has more to gain than Canelo Alvarez. Right? And he has more to lose.
But there's a reason Canelo's team is hesitating, and it runs deeper than money. Leading up to the first fight, the story was that Canelo was too big and too powerful for a welterweight. Moving up, that illusion was completely dismantled round after round. Eddie Hearn, one of boxing's top power brokers, has been unusually frank about a second fight, dropping hints that a rematch could be risky and calling Crawford a stylistic nightmare for the Mexican superstar.
You're going to get beat by, I was going to say young, sharp guys. Yeah. Terence is 38, isn't he? I mean, it's unbelievable. Yeah, 38.
It's crazy.
You know, I heard Shakur saying last night that he says he thinks he should and will retire from the sport. But I don't know who else is out there for Crawford. I mean, he's only going to want to fight for 20, 30, 40 million. But who is there to fight for that kind of money? I'm not sure, you know.
The rematch, you think the rematch would be of interest?
I don't think Canelo will want a rematch. Yeah. I think there's a rematch clause. I don't know,
there's
no.
Not. Yeah.
So it's very unusual for Canelo to go into a fight without a rematch clause.
Yeah.
But for me, I just can't see Canelo going, yes, I want to run that back.
The reality is the first fight wasn't a lucky punch or a narrow decision. It was a complete dismantling. Crawford exposed Canelo's struggles with elite lateral movement and flawless switch hitting. Canelo didn't just lose, he looked utterly lost, and now his promoters find themselves stuck in a nightmare scenario.
Hey, yo, peace to the family. I just got through looking at a video that Bernie the Boxer shot. Shout out to my man Bernie over there in Omaha, man. Bernie the Boxer. Shout out to him, man. Bernie, pretty much, as you guys know, Saul Canelo Alvarez is being reported that Saul Canelo Alvarez wants to fight the rematch with Terence Crawford. Terence Bud Crawford, currently the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. So now, according to Bernie, now this is what Bernie said that Bud told him, according to Crawford. Bernie said that in order for, if Canelo want that rematch, he got to get paid $100 million. Meaning, Bud got to get paid $100 million. Now, and guess what? I told him the same. It's amazing that Bernie said that, because I told Bud that prior to Bernie coming out saying it publicly. I'm like, look, according to what y'all said, what we heard, Canelo got paid $100 million or something of that sort to fight Crawford. Crawford reported that he only made $10 million. But I'm telling you, he made more than that. He made way more than that. You know what I mean? It's been reported also that Crawford made $50 million to fight Canelo Alvarez. And I'm saying, okay, look, and he was the B-side. Now that Crawford is the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, if Canelo want to run it back, guess what? Crawford got to get the 100.
They do have a rematch clause they could trigger, but they know stylistically nothing will change in 6 months. If they hand Crawford $100 million, they're essentially paying to watch their golden boy get humiliated again, potentially ending his status as a top-level attraction for good. They're trapped between a rock and a hard place. Look weak by avoiding the rematch, or look foolish by paying a fortune to lose it.
Again, it's up to Turkey. Whatever Bud can negotiate, that's fine. But guess what? And I know Canelo's the bigger draw. That ain't the point. The point is you lost. He lost to the small guy, the guy that moved up from welterweight, beat you. He showed that he was levels above you, Canelo. So now guess what? He needs to get levels above you paid. That's just the reality of the situation. He made 50 his last fight. You know what I mean? I know he said he made 10, but it is what it is. They say he made, from what I've learned, he made 50. And Canelo made 100. And then now, guess what? They need to flip it. If Canelo want to make 100, fine. No problem with that. But guess what? You got to pay Crawford 100. The $100 million man. Let him see what it feel like to get paid $100 million. It's as simple as that. If Canelo want that fight again with Crawford, if Turk Al-Sheikh tell him, look, Canelo, we only have 150 million for this fight. Crawford wants 100. If you want to fight him, take 50. See what Canelo says. And if Canelo believes he can beat him, take that and beat him. You get what I'm saying? But it is what it is, fam. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. I hope Bud get his money. You dig? Catch you guys on the next one. Leave your comments below. You know my motto. Don't beat me there, beat me there.
However, whispers from insiders suggest this whole negotiation could be a smokescreen. Bernie Thaw, boxer, a respected voice in the boxing world, who monitors camps closely, recently shared a shocking theory. He claims the rematch rumors are mostly fake news fueled by internet clickbait, and that Canelo has no real plan to face Bud again. According to this idea, the chatter exists simply to keep Canelo's name in the headlines while his team quietly searches for a softer way out.
And he did it so cleanly on Mexican Independence Weekend that it's just like Canelo's gonna definitely ego kick in and want to do a rematch.
No, I don't know. I don't believe that. You know, I think the warrior spirit might want him to have a rematch, but I don't think the rematch is going to do him any justice. You know, I don't see no cause for no rematch the way Bud handled him, because Bud handled him in every which way. You know, he never got buzzed. He seemed like the stronger guy in there, and he the one that hurt this guy. So there's nothing that we can say that will warrant a rematch. I think Bud won so clearly. I thought he damn near won every round. You know, I seen that Andre Ward and Max Kellerman, which kind of pissed me off. They gave him, in a sense that, not pissed me off like that, but I didn't think he won the 5th round. I didn't see him doing nothing much in the 5th round. They was making the 5th round like and if he keeps doing that, then he might win the fight or do. I didn't see him doing nothing much in the 5th round. You know, I didn't see that. So I don't think that there's no warrant for a rematch. Crawford handled him easy, pretty much. Easy. He made it look easy. And I'm not going to lie, you know, Crawford going to say the gracious things on the camera, or Crawford's going to say gracious things on the camera. But did I get those feelings when we, you know, he's showing a lot of respect as a fighter for fellow fighters. But if we want to be blunt, man, it was easy. You know, he didn't have no trouble in there.
Bernie went even further, sparking intense debate among fans. He boldly suggested that Crawford's win over Canelo was actually more remarkable than Floyd Mayweather's legendary masterclass against him back in 2013.
But never seen it. You never seen it, because usually he probably scorned you. He probably have disdain for you for running. You know, like, this guy, he don't want to fight. But with Crawford, he was just like, where am I going with this guy? Where am I going with this guy? You know, I don't. Everything I'm trying to do, he's taking it away from me. The pull counter he did, the looping shot that I showed, like he doubled the left hand up, then he turned it to a loop. He missed the first one. I think Canelo got out the way or blocked it, but he kept the punch going and turned it into a loop and caught him with a great shot. And the angle and the torque that he had on the shot spent his head. The angle and the torque that he had spent his head. So you know the power that he had to have to anchor the shot, man, in the agility that he showed. So like I say, Crawford making up punches. You don't even see guys doing stuff.
The reasoning is straightforward. Mayweather defeated a green 23-year-old Canelo. Crawford, on the other hand, dismantled a prime, experienced, and fully developed Canelo Alvarez. If this perspective holds, it sheds light on why the rematch chatter feels empty. Canelo knows he faced a master who beat him more decisively than Floyd ever did, and no sum of money is worth reliving that sense of helplessness.
Do you think Canelo would want that rematch? I mean, if anything else, Canelo, when he loses, he always wants to run it back, man. You don't think he would run it back?
No.
Well,
I don't think that like it's not because of his heart, because it's because of his guts. Like, he want to do it, but there's no way he can win that fight. He cannot beat Crawford. He can't beat him. And he was trying. I was watching that fight. When Crawford was punching, he was punching when Crawford was punching. He was throwing to the body when Crawford was going to the head. You know, he was trying everything he could, but then he didn't have no answer. And he said that, I just didn't have no answer for him. So there's nothing going to change about Crawford, you know, unless, you know, something dramatic happened where he heard something and it was something like that. But far as a Crawford as full, who gonna beat him? No.
One of the few lifelines Canelo supporters hold on to is the hope that Crawford, who fights sparingly, might show up rusty or past his peak in a rematch, but that hope is quickly fading. We've learned that Crawford's secret to longevity is a lifestyle almost completely opposite the typical modern boxing superstar. He doesn't let his weight balloon and avoids the party scene. Reports from his camp reveal he stays in peak boxing condition year-round, constantly training with basketball, wrestling, and shadow boxing, even when no fight is on the calendar.
You know, guys will always be like, you know, I stay in the gym, I'm not rusty, blah, 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 whatever. And then fight night comes and they rusty as hell. Like, how is it that Crawford is able to fight one time a year, have a big fight, not even like tune-up type of guys, and it's just like, yo, it's like this dude he's never rusty. Like, how is he able to kind of do that?
Because Crawford is always in boxing mode. You know, he's always playing something. He's being active. So he's not just sitting around rusting away. You know, he's always shadow boxing, or he's always wrestling with somebody, or he's always playing basketball. So he's keeping his you know what I'm saying? If you playing basketball, you keeping all your, you know what I'm saying, your alertness up there. You know, you running up and down the court, you bumping. You know what I'm saying? You're using your physical strength in there, muscling your way to the rim. You know, like I say, stay shadow boxing. And, you know, that's just it. Crawford stayed doing something. So, you know.
This non-stop state of readiness keeps Crawford's reflexes razor sharp and his mental processing lightning fast. In contrast, Canelo has been through punishing battles for nearly 20 years. The toll on his body is undeniable. While Crawford is preserving his engine, Canelo's odometer is creeping into the danger zone. The notion that delaying a few months of negotiations will benefit Canelo and hurt Crawford is pure myth. If anything, the gap between them is growing as Crawford fully adapts to the weight class and Canelo's physical decline quickens.
Canelo, he has mastered his style. Now, typically, Latinos, they got their own style versus melanated black people having like more rhythm, more flashiness and panache to their stuff, more swag.
Yeah.
We just fight different than other ethnicities. If you want to throw Amir Khan in there, his ethnicity, he was in and out.
Yeah, that's the European kind of style.
Textbook, you know, but that was his style. Canelo got his style and he mastered it. Terence Crawford cannot take nothing away from him. He's like freakishly good, you know. He go both sides, southpaw, orthodox, you know, and I feel like he adapted.
If you check social media, the aura around Canelo Alvarez has officially cracked. Forums on Reddit and Twitter are overflowing with fans openly saying Canelo is finished at the elite level. The sentiment goes beyond just losing. It's that he was outclassed with ease. The fear factor he once carried into negotiations is gone. The overall consensus is a rematch would be nothing more than a cash grab, a last desperate attempt to make one final payday before retiring.
Did you watch the Terence Crawford Canelo Alvarez fight?
Yeah, I did.
Ooh, talk about slick. Oh my goodness. Who's ever done that? Who's ever jumped up 2 weight classes like that? It's crazy.
Scary.
He's so clever, and it got to the point where he got so comfortable, he's like pit-patting him, and then like, what? And you're watching, like, this is amazing.
Like, that's history, obviously. You shouldn't be able to do that. You shouldn't be able to fight at that weight for the first time ever.
Against one of the greatest
greatest of all time, and do what you did. You're beyond an outlier. You're an anomaly.
This shift in public opinion is dangerous for the promotion. If fans see the result as a foregone conclusion, it becomes nearly impossible to sell the fight or generate the revenue needed to meet Crawford's $100 million demand. Fans are already insisting Canelo should retire rather than risk another beatdown. When the paying public views a mega fight as a mismatch, the financial model collapses. Crawford knows this, which is exactly why he locked in his payday up front. He understands the hype machine can't save Canelo this time. Even legends are weighing in. Roy Jones Jr., a man intimately familiar with legacy, has reportedly advised Crawford to skip the rematch. His take is striking. Beating Canelo once proves you're the best. Beating him twice just proves you've passed your prime. There's a sense that Crawford has bigger goals to chase if he wants to cement his GOAT status, maybe by capturing a 4th weight class. Devin Haney and other contemporaries echo this sentiment, suggesting the $100 million is the only reason to risk it for Canelo. However, the trap is far deadlier. Fight and lose again, and his legacy shifts from Mexican warrior to a fighter who didn't know when to quit. Crawford has cornered him by demanding the money. He has put the ball squarely in Canelo's court. Admit you can't afford me and look cowardly, or pay up and risk your career. So what happens if the money is delivered? If the Saudis or a massive gate make the $100 million real and round 1 of the rematch begins, the predictions are grim. Analysts like Bernie aren't just calling for a Crawford win. They're forecasting a stoppage. The belief is that Crawford used the first fight to study Canelo's timing and decode his style in a second fight. He won't need caution. Terence Crawford has already won the negotiation before a single punch is thrown. By setting the price at $100 million, he has cemented himself as boxing's new face and forced Canelo into an impossible position. This brutal demand isn't just about money, it's about respect, dominance, and a changing of the guard. The question is simple: is Crawford pricing himself out to avoid risk, or is he the only man in boxing bold enough to charge exactly what he's worth? Does Canelo have the courage to sign that check and face his own potential downfall? That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell to never miss our upcoming content, and make sure to share your thoughts in the comments. Stay tuned. We'll catch you in the next video.